A while ago, many videos back, I did a talk about. I shared the story of when I was in school. I must have been maybe 15 years old, and I was in the car on the way to the airport for a vacation. And in the car with me were some friends of mine, and one of the guys was one of the most popular boys in our standard. And I had this morbid thought, which I don't know if it was really morbid, but if we had a car crash and we all died, or let's just say it was myself and Ricky, right? Ricky died. That was his real name. That and our funerals were on the same day. That who would come to mine and who would go to Ricky's? I even imagined myself. My brothers would probably turn out to go to Ricky's funeral and be like, well, I wonder who's there, or let's see the turnout, which other popular kids and are going to be there, and sort of the hot girls, the cool girls, or something like that, and let's hear what people have to say about Ricky. And there will be, Aaron and and so I don't know. I mean, I've always had these kind of strange thoughts in a way, but I didn't feel that anybody would really miss me in a way. I mean, my mother and my father, and maybe my brothers, whatever it was, but it would be more like shocking, like, oh my word, he died in a car accident, and he died very young, those kind of thinking, but not like, well, what did he mean? What was he in our lives? How did he touch our lives? What did he bring into our lives? What did he represent? I don't know. And look, as a child, a teenager, you haven't yet had much opportunity to develop into your own skin, if you will, and impact the world in your own unique way, not just the world, but people, and grow in yourself, obviously. And so I thought about this a few moments ago while lying in bed, meditating, and I thought to myself, who would miss me? Because like I just thought for a moment, there's just so much drama going on. I think the date is the 16th or the 17th. I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure. I think it's the 16th. It's Saturday of January. I thought to myself, like, I mean, who would actually have the time to miss me? Who would actually have the time to reflect on my life and my impact? And there was a moment of almost like, dust in the wind, all we are is dust in the wind type of thing. Like, I will be mourned for, there'll be grief in my family and a few people that I know. But it was more than that. Like, I thought, like, I don't know how to explain it, but more on a spiritual level, that I feel that a lot of people's lives that I've touched will feel a loss on a spiritual level, even though they might not even know that I've passed on, that my time has come, that they wouldn't even know necessarily, but something will feel, they'll feel a loss of some kind, because I do feel of the person who I have become, and I'm still becoming, that I have touched so many people's lives. Yes, I mean, I'm blowing my own horn here, but I should be able to do that from where I came from. I mean, who I was and how selfish and sort of just so in one dimensional point of view of life, and just feeling like there isn't much to it, there's no adventure to it, in a way, to a certain degree. I felt that way, like it's kind of pointless and meaningless. And to come full circle and where I am today and who I am, and I would be missed, and because why would I be missed is that, I mean, for many different reasons, but I think one is because I've held a space. I feel like I've held a space of just genuineness and sincerity. I would like to think, and I mean, I say that confidently, but not in a grandiose way. I've still got so much work to be done, but I mean, for how far I have come, I mean, at least I can take some stock and value that, and appreciate that, and give myself a round of applause or just a pat on the back. I mean, for heaven's sake, and so I've held a space, I think, and I think for a lot of people, and I think like for my mother especially, now what do I mean by holding a space? I'm talking about a space of truth, of sincerity, of remembering, of connectedness, of just our divinity, our temporary nature in this planet, on this dimension, on this planet, in this dimension, in a way. Like, I think Terence McKenna, in his own way, held a space for people. And he invited them into his world, into that space. And if you ask me, Terence McKenna saved my life back in 2008, because if I didn't come across him, I just felt there was no reason to live. And he invited me into a space, and he continues to do so. He continues to do so, and I'm forever grateful for that. And that's the artist, in a way. That's what the artist does, so to speak. Not somebody who just paints and draws or something like that, but somebody who has a vision. Somebody who holds a certain vibration. And singers have done that, poets have done that, authors have done that, movies have done that for us. In so many ways, directors, screenplays, other YouTubers, in a sense, hold a space of again, transcendence. Transcendence. I mean, I think Jordan Peterson has held a very, very big space, probably the biggest, I would say, in 2019 or 2018, in regards for people who were more mainstream, to connect with something more transcendental. I think he took religion, the teachings of the Bible, New and Old Testament, to another level, from a different perspective, which was so much more fulfilling and so much more rewarding and just so much more adventurous and so much more, so much more sensible. He took these metaphors and expanded on them, and really he's like, I think, and the book, what he's written, and all his lectures in regards to even, from the Lion King, Carl Jung and the Lion King, or something like that, and Pinocchio and whatever else he's done. I mean, can you imagine the weight on this man's shoulders? Which I'm not surprised, that he had to take some time out, because how extreme it must have absolutely been on his shoulders. I mean, for anybody of that magnitude on such a positive influence in the world, it's going to take such a weight on your shoulders. And often of the time you just stand alone. But when you're in it for evil, when you're in it for the distraction, then you got all the support you need. I mean, because there's all little demon-like characters running around, possessed people running around, like most of the presidents of the world and the politicians, they all stand together, creating all this evil, all the big companies, all the social media giants, or whatever it is, You stand together in this one cause, in that way. But when you stand for truth, when you stand for your own individuality, for your divinity, you stand alone most of the time. I mean, you have the support of the people whose lives you change. But it's different because you're so unique. It's hard to explain this, I think. But I think it's it's less weight to do evil. I mean, depending on the person's soul level. I mean, for a good person to do evil, it's the heavy weight. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you're asleep, completely asleep, or completely narcissistic. It's easier to perpetuate evil and have your buddies and your cronies compliment you on that. But when you are sincere, like a psychonaut, an artist, and you really, you're digging deep, close to your wounds to bring out your artistry, your blessings, your gifts, right? You're growing in your own individual way against, like swimming upstream. You're doing your own unique message, your own unique signature in a way, which accompanied by your own healing and your own growth and your own courage, your own humility, your own vulnerability. It's much harder it's much harder to do that, and you do it you do it on your own, so to speak. You, as my other friend Ricky says, it's your legs that carry you the distance, that walks the journey, or something like that. I should have written it down. It's your own legs, that walk into the light, carrying you. If that makes sense, but something or other. Anyway, so our time will come. Each one of our times will come. And I do think that our lives will flash in front of our eyes. And I do think that when it's over in that way. And I do think that even our hardest, toughest moments, traumatic moments, hard to say, but will have a different feel when it's all flashing in front of our eyes. I think it will be a bittersweet, but yet sort of tranquil, almost, in a way. I think it will be a refresher, a reminder of the adventure of your life that you've been on. The adventure that you felt like when you were a child, and your best friend came over to play, and I don't know, you ran into the forest behind the back of your house just to play, to build a tree house or something like that. The excitement of it, the adventure of it, or something or other, the adventure, and just something or other. And so I think that returns in that, when life flashes in front of your eyes, and memories that you've forgotten. I think it's all there anyways. I think it's all kept, it's all there. And not just in the memory, but in, I don't know what it is, in the Schumann resonance, or some part of us in the cloud, if you want to call it, or something like that. And so we see it, right? And we see it, and we remember all parts of it. And the thing is that, I don't know, obviously, beyond that, in that way, but a part of me feels it's like that no matter how much influence and control you had in this world, if you are human, I think there are, I don't understand certain characters that are running around that look human, but that are instigating all of the stuff that's going on in the world, that look human, but we don't know. But what I'm saying is that no matter what a big player you were in this life, right, no matter how much, again, money you had, how much Instagram followers you had, or whatever it is, no matter how much of it, all the evil that you are about, you and the impact, what I'm saying is that it gets obliterated in a way. I don't think that you can take your level of corruption that you've become and distortedness into the next life, in a way. It's I think of the president here in South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, and there's so many accusations against him, from being a sellout during the apartheid times, literally selling his people out, like a really, really despicable individual, really has his finger in every pie, has been in cahoots with just really nasty individuals, selling his own people out, letting them starve, the corruption, not doing anything about it, and himself actually, and becoming just so greedy, like a greedy individual, heartless, narcissistic individual, And I hear from time to time people say his soul must be in such pain and agony, which it probably is. But I also think he's such a narcissist, that he doesn't feel it most of the time. It's there, but he probably just tries to distract himself from it, or tries to well, look at me, look how famous I am, look what a big deal I am, look how many, secure, I'm untouchable. I'm sure he feels that when he gets together with his cronies from the ANC, and they all laugh about their corruption and how they don't really care about the citizens and how they're, whatever they do, and they just laugh about it. And they feel so superior, and they're all, like a gang, like in that way, that they enjoy each other's company, and they sort of tip their hats off to one another, type of thing. We the rulers, we the controllers, we the big chiefs here, we are untouchables, and we are stinking rich, and whatever it is, and they have to bow down to us, especially during the times that we're in now. If we want to lock it down, we lock it down. I mean, they're puppets, obviously, but they don't see themselves as puppets. Anyway, my point being is that, like, to be such a vile character, and like to have your life flash before, when your time comes, and to have your life flash before your eyes, it must be very daunting, and it must be very sickening, it must be very overwhelming, it must be very, heart sore to see, and to realize that, like, on the other side, you don't have your cronies that are supporting you. You're not the president on the other side. You were just an individual playing a small little role. I'm saying it was a big role, but like in the bigger scheme of things, it was very small, very insignificant. Because again, you didn't impact people in a positive way. Like the positivity, and the truth that you brought into people's lives, and the love that you brought into people's lives, that echoes for eternity. As he says in the movie Gladiator, that will always echo and will always be there. It's growth. But what you did was destruction. And so you've brought nothing but sorrow and despair, and so you become insignificant. And on the other side, when you have your soul weighed, it's like, okay, let's have a look at it. It's like, man, you didn't do a very good job. You didn't do a very good job. You sold out, and let's look, okay, well, you regressed. You're a small little child that becomes so grandiose, that bit of more than they could chew, that was greedy, that was envious, that was deceitful, that was manipulative, and so on and so forth. And so the shame that you carry, it's like, I just imagine, so anything that's not true, any performance of that is not with truth and with good intentions, I think we suffer greatly for it. In a way, it's a huge discomfort, I really feel, and it's a great shame, in a way. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think if Mr. Cyril was prepared to be honest now, have a moment of honesty and self-reflection, that he would absolutely break apart. Like, he'd have to go run and hide in a cave and just, or never want to see, anybody, even to see the light of day, or something or other. I mean, if his true soul awareness could, because to realize that it's at the end of the day, whatever you amounted to, it's rubbish. It's all insignificant in a way. Maybe you served a purpose because you played in the necessary role of evil, right? So you did a performance, but you're not going to be you're not going to be applauded for that, right? Because it was maybe, you did a favor in a way, but you're not going to be applauded for it. I don't think. You're not going to have grown because of it. And in fact, it's done something to you, which is okay. You can fix it in many, many lifetimes. But it was a poor reflection, a poor show. That you didn't, or something or other. I mean, I don't know, but you just can't break the rules, and the rules don't break you. It just doesn't happen. I just can't believe it. You can't get away with things. And thank goodness for that, because it makes life meaningful that you can't get away with things. You can't, just because the boss, or because, you bribed the judge, and therefore you're untouchable, you're too big to fail, you can get away with things. Thank goodness there is a law. There is a cosmic law, there is a natural law to all of this. Thank goodness that there is, because it makes things really, really count. And it really protects truth and the journey of truth and of becoming, and so on and so forth. It really does. It's not like wishful thinking. It's for real. Anyway, so just besides the point is that, for myself, I've held a space for people, and I'm glad to be able to do that, and I think I'm consistent as well. And I think some people I come across, they don't know it, but they feel something tremendous. Like, we'll be talking or something like that, and it'll be like, you know, I help them feel something that they've never felt before, and they're so invigorated by, not everybody, not majority of people, but I don't know, when they're in my presence, certain people, it's like, oh my word, like I've never felt that before, but it just felt so alive, it just felt so great, it felt so true, it felt so beautiful, it felt so loving. And I'm glad to be able to do that for people, and I'm so blessed to be able to hold that space. A lot of people, majority I would say, are petrified of this about me and feel very uncomfortable about it. Hence my channel just, dropping in views every single day. I mean, it's unbelievable. From 14,000 subscribers in my previous channel, even more, I think it's almost 15,000 now, to 100 subscribers and about 60 views on average a video. I feel make most people feel uncomfortable, But for those that wish, they're really connected. For those of you who have made it this far, I mean, we share something. We share a space, because I'm sure you afford other people the same space in what I'm talking about. And that's what we have in common. And that's how we connect. And that's what we offer to other people. They've never had the taste of this in their lives before. And when they get a taste of this, they get an insight into their lives. They're reminded that they're not just a figment of their own imagination, or like, having to prescribe to a Hollywood celebrity, imaginary role or something like that, or to be well identified in society and culture. That we remind them of their soul, their spirit, the adventure of life, and they feel just, again, refreshed. They don't know it, and they don't know what it's about, and they don't know what's going on, but they feel something deeply. They really do, and they're moved in a way that they've never been moved before. And that's the power of being present with somebody and reflecting to them their divinity. Yeah, so it's a great gift and opportunity that we afford to others, and we afford to one another, that some of you that I do speak to, we afford to one another. It's really, really special. It's really, really divine, and it really helps me, not be completely taken over and overwhelmed by the material plane, the matrix, low vibration of things. That it reminds me again, it's like, it's transcendental. It's greater, bigger, grander than we can ever suppose, and never forgetting how mysterious it is, and what a real adventure we're a part of. Alright, thanks for taking the time. We'll chat soon. Be well.